I'm Olivia, a 39-year-old office worker married to John, who's 2 years younger. 5 years ago, we moved into an apartment with our pet cat, Leo. Just the two of us and our furry friend. I guess it's something to say, but I hold a higher position in the company. Actually, my husband, who works at the same company, is also one of my subordinates. Even though we're a married couple, there's a hierarchy at work. But at home, I try to respect him as my husband. Or maybe not. I can't deny that I've tended to lead since we were dating. After all, I was the one who proposed. We'd been together for several years, but John, probably because I was his boss, hesitated to marry. Impatient, I boldly proposed, but I still get angry remembering what Scarlett, my mother-in-law, said back then. I proposed to him. I mentioned casually, and Scarlett responded, "Normally, women don't propose. Once a woman is over 30, she loses her shame and discretion." Scarlett, who could say such rude things, was obviously cold to me. Even after the wedding, every visit to the in-laws' house was filled with snide remarks. "John used to be your subordinate, but you don't think you're above him at home, do you?" That's why I told my son to marry a younger woman. While my father-in-law was alive, he defended me, but since he passed away a year ago, I've mostly avoided Scarlett. I don't want to go to the in-laws' house, now inhabited only by her, just to hear her sarcasm. If Scarlett needs care in the future, I'll have to reconsider, but I'm not really worried about that. We've always been a dual-income couple, and the apartment is mine, so no rent. My salary alone covers our living expenses, so we save all of John's income. If necessary, I can afford to put Scarlett in a care facility. We don't have kids, and if we keep working until retirement, we'll receive a decent pension. Then I can spend a relaxed retirement with John and our cat Leo. I was satisfied with my life plan, but life can bring unexpected turns. I was feeling a bit off lately, and to my surprise, I found out I'm pregnant. Given my age, I had given up on having children. I thought of Leo as our child and was content with that. But realizing I was pregnant made me see I was just putting on a brave face. I actually wanted a child, but I suppressed those feelings, focusing on a career-oriented life. And now, 5 years into our marriage, I'm pregnant. It feels like a reward from God for all my hard work. I'm happy, of course. I intend to have the baby. I immediately discussed it with my company and switched to a less strenuous role. I moved to a different department for my husband, separating us at work. It's a bit lonely, but I can't keep up with the travel and meetings of my previous role. With the change in my job came another issue. My salary dropped. Switching to internal duties and reducing overtime made it inevitable. But John seemed concerned about it. "Ah, a salary drop. That's tough. But we have savings and my salary will be partially compensated. Plus, we're having a baby. We need to shift our focus to baby-centered living." Thus began our new life. With the change to internal duties, I could work remotely more freely. It helped me through tough morning sickness and will make returning to work easier after the baby. But as I shifted to remote work, John started coming home late. He'd also began working more weekends. His job had always involved some weekend work and travel. He used to take compensatory time off for weekend work, but now he didn't. Could he be cheating, using work as an excuse? Could he be meeting another woman? That's why he's not taking time off. Suspecting infidelity, I swallowed my pride and contacted colleagues from our old department to see if there was another woman. But it seems there's no other woman in his life. My husband doesn't drink, so it's unlikely he's enamored with a woman from a bar. But maybe infidelity would have been better than the actual truth. What I discovered was far worse than an affair. It all started with a phone call. "Hello, regarding the delivery of a sofa set scheduled for today. I'm sorry, but we're running behind, and it might be delayed by about 2 hours. What a sofa set delivery? What are they talking about? Is this a wrong number?" When I asked who placed the order, my husband's name came up, but the delivery address was not our home. It was a new high-rise condo. I assumed it was a mix-up with someone else who had the same name and had moved into the high-rise. "It seems you have the wrong number. Anyway, it's not for us." I hung up, not giving it a second thought. That evening, when my usually punctual husband returned home late, I casually mentioned, "It seems the new high-rise condos are being occupied. I got a call about a sofa delivery delay today. Someone with the same name as you. It's funny to think someone with the same name lives there." Suddenly, my husband burst out, "What? They called here." I told them to call my mobile. I had to wait forever because of that. He quickly covered his mouth. "What do you mean? Did you order the sofa?" "It's not a namesake." I was confused. My husband ordered a sofa. Then why isn't it here? Why deliver it to a high-rise? Don't tell me, are you cheating? Keeping another woman in that high-rise, planning a double life? I asked the question I feared most. "No, it's nothing like that, not cheating." Then why deliver a sofa to a high-rise apartment? Planning to sit there with your mistress, cozying up on a new sofa. Unforgivable. No, I would never cozy up with Mom. Mom, what does that mean? Is he referring to Scarlett? I was more confused. After persistent questioning, my husband confessed he had secretly bought a high-rise apartment for Scarlett. His late returns and weekend works were all preparations for the move. "You know, living alone in a house is hard for Mom. A condo is easier, no stairs, better for the elderly. It's a rental, so instead of paying rent, I thought it's better to just buy it." "How did you pay for it?" "I used my savings for the down payment on the condo." "What? His savings? But really it was our joint savings. I covered living expenses while his salary went into savings. Using our shared funds without my knowledge for his mother's house was unforgivable. I can't believe this. Take me to the high-rise now," I demanded, and we headed to the condo. Scarlett was there, lounging comfortably on the new sofa in the high-rise, the sofa all bought with our savings. Seeing the sofa, rage boiled inside of me. I pushed past my husband, who was whispering to Scarlett, and confronted her. "What do you think, Scarlett? Did you know about this purchase being kept for me? If only you had consulted me. Using our savings in secret is unbelievable." Scarlett smirked and retorted, "Oh, what are you talking about? My son bought this condo for me, not you. It's our money saved together. Even if it's in John's name, we're expecting a child and we need the money." "How could you? You changed jobs and lowered your income by choice, right?" "What?" I was speechless at Scarlett's counter. "You must be planning to live off my son's income, slacking off now that you're pregnant. Oh dear, reminds me of parasites living off others. Aren't you just a parasite?" "Parasite? My income decreased, but I didn't lose it completely. Being compared to a parasite was outrageous. Even if I quit my job to be a stay-at-home mom, does that make a wife reliant on a household and child care a parasite? What an insult. Then doesn't that make you the same? You've been a housewife since father-in-law was alive." I just asked the obvious, but Scarlett couldn't retort. Having hit the nail on the head, that's when my husband interjected. "Stop it." Hey, I thought he was reprimanding Scarlett for her rudeness, but surprisingly he turned on me. "See, that's what I hate. Always trying to win an argument, acting like you're always right, both at home and at work. I'm sick of being bossed around by you everywhere." To me, Mom was the only comfort. You understand why I'd want to give her a better life, right? All this because you look down on me at home with your boss attitude. I thought I had been respecting him as much as possible at home. One reason I requested a transfer at work was to end our boss-subordinate relationship, partly due to my pregnancy. Unaware of my feelings, the two of them took this chance to blame me. "I won't return home anymore. I'll stay with Mom. Once the baby's born, you'll be busy with the child anyway, and I need someone to take care of me." So that's his true motive. Afraid of being neglected after the baby's arrival and possibly facing more chores, he seeks refuge with his mother. Right? A wife who can't take care of her husband and leeches off his income is useless. I'll live in the shiny high-rise with John. The parasite can leave. Her words made me tremble with anger, yet a part of me felt eerily calm. A small voice inside me whispered, "Know your place, you two. Do you have any idea what's coming? Be prepared." But what I said was different. All right, let's get divorced. My straightforward acceptance of divorce surprised both my husband and Scarlett. Sure. To my husband's dumbfounded question, I calmly replied, "Yes, it's fine. That's what you want, right?" "Well, yes," my husband grumbled. He was indecisive as ever in work and personal life. Once a decision is made, you just push forward. That's how I've always handled my work. The same thing happened this time. Once I decided on divorce, I was determined to go through with it. "I'll take care of the child after it's born, all right?" Scarlett snorted in response, instead of my husband, "Like I'd want a child from your womb." My husband seemed to agree. "Well, I didn't particularly want it anyway. Better for you to take care of it." "Is that so? Then we'll proceed with that. I'll prepare the divorce papers soon. Please move out of the apartment as quickly as possible." My husband seemed relieved by my swift, non-emotional handling of the situation. "Thanks. You're reliable as always. A smooth divorce, huh?" I just smiled, saying nothing. A smooth divorce? Hardly. They'll see soon enough. My husband and I returned to the apartment together. I wished he'd stayed at Scarlett's high-rise, but without his belongings, he couldn't go to work the next day. I endured it, knowing it was only for a few more days. Relieved about the amicable divorce, he packed his things in the apartment we shared as a couple, occasionally bothering our cat Leo, who snubbed him. He even tried to make a move on me in the bedroom. "Hey, you're in the safe period now, right? For old time's sake." Outrageous. How dare he approach me now for old time's sake? Oh, of course, I refused, throwing him out of bed. It took him 2 weeks to pack everything into boxes. He could have been more efficient, but I let him take his time without saying a word, just watching. The longer it took for him to move out, the more convenient it was for me. But today finally was my husband's moving day. All the boxes were loaded onto the moving truck, and as it drove away, my husband turned to me. "Well, I'm going. Thanks for everything," he said awkwardly, showing gratitude. "Thank you, too. Actually, I have a present for you." "Really?" "Yes, something you've been wanting. The divorce papers." His face, initially hopeful at the mention of a present, fell at the mention of divorce papers. Such a transparent man. "Just wait a minute." I retrieved the envelope with the papers from the cupboard and handed it to him. "Here you go." "Thanks. So I just sign this and submit it to the office, right? Who will be the witness, like we had for the marriage certificate?" "Oh, someone agreed to be a witness. It's all arranged." Check inside the envelope. They'll contact you." When my husband looked inside the envelope, he was surprised. My husband was to find a lawyer's business card inside. The divorce papers were there too, but unsigned by me. Why is there a lawyer's card? Well, during these 2 weeks, I found and contacted a lawyer. A smooth divorce, wasn't it? That's what you said, right? What did I ever say? Smooth divorce. No, I didn't. That was just his wishful thinking. I feigned retreat to prepare my trap. What woman would calmly accept her spouse squandering their assets, especially with a child on the way? And protecting our child's rights. And just so you know, the baby is undoubtedly yours. I'm willing to do a DNA test if you doubt it. Thanks to your slow packing, I had plenty of time to find a good lawyer. Typically, in a collaborative divorce, the lawyer fills out the witness section, and it doesn't cost extra. Convenient, right? The truth is, I'm paying a substantial fee for the lawyer. It's only natural they do a bit of paperwork for me, but he doesn't need to know that. Why haven't you signed the divorce papers?" Recovering from the shock of the lawyer's card, he was surprised again to see my signature missing. "You could have signed your part already." I laughed at him. I couldn't possibly do something that risky. Not when we haven't settled the distribution of property, compensation in divorce court, and child support. If I signed now, the divorce could be finalized without my consent. Distribution of property. Since I used most of my salary for living expenses, half of your 5-year salary, about 2.5 years' worth, seems fair, doesn't it? I casually threw these figures at him. "Your annual income is $40,000, right?" "Lower than mine, but that's $200,000 over 4 years. So $100,000 for property division. I may not get much in alimony, but the standard child support is around $400 a month, right? That's about $96,000 in total. If you pay me $200,000, we can cleanly divorce." My husband screamed in despair. $200,000? Impossible. That's a huge sum. Well, it would seem astronomical for him, especially with the hefty mortgage left on the recently bought high-rise. If you hadn't bought that high-rise, you would have nearly the same amount in savings. Well, if you hadn't bought it, we probably wouldn't even be talking about divorce. But since it's already done, think about what you'll do next, yourself. Follow my suggestion. My husband started brainstorming on the spot. I doubted he'd come up with anything substantial. Eventually, he had an idea. "This apartment we lived in together, isn't it joint property? What if we split it and call it even?" Too bad, not much of an idea. Unfortunately, I bought this apartment before we married. Premarital assets aren't included in joint property. His shoulders slumped in defeat. "That's all you can think of. Well, if you come up with anything better, discuss it with the lawyer, though it'll probably be rejected right away." Leo, our cat, meowed from the doorway. "Oh, I left the door open. He might go outside." I moved to close the front door, but remembered something I'd forgotten to say. Given your penchant for doing things your way, I've already filed for non-acceptance of divorce. Even if you forge my signature, it's futile. Goodbye. I shut the door in front of my husband's nose. Later, my lawyer's claim resulted in my husband paying $100,000. To make the payment, he even sold his beloved high-rise, used property only a few months after purchase. It was a great bargain for the new buyer. Good for them. I congratulated the unknown new owner of the high-rise. Child support, of course, couldn't be paid in one go, so it would be monthly. That was expected, so I arranged for immediate salary deductions. If payments were delayed, working at the same company makes this convenient. The benefits of an office marriage, the backdoor version. I guess I'm calmly working remotely, rubbing my growing belly, gazing into the distance from my apartment's balcony. Beyond those mountains is the shabby nursing home where Scarlett lives. Once my child is born and things settle, I plan to return to work and do my best as a working mom. Ah, the baby just kicked a little on the right side.